So what if it all works out? Ronnie LeDuff and the dedicated staff at Regions Behavioral Hospital are giving those in need of hope a chance to find out.
And to see it come to life, like to see it come in full fruition, it's like I'm high every day. I wake up high. It's like I don't need a needle in my arm. And so now I get to turn high on life. It's because my life consists of helping people find theirs.
6. The number of times the father, husband, son, and friend, Ronnie LeDuff, attempted to end his life. Through hope and recovery, he's now an advocate in new beginnings.
You know, maybe from the first time to the sixth time, I didn't believe it. And it wasn't until the sixth time when I had a vivid divine intervention with my higher power I choose to call God, and he came to me and showed me my full life before my eyes. And at that moment, I just felt like I had purpose. I felt like God had his hand on me the entire time through my addiction, through my suicide attempts for a bigger purpose and a bigger cause. And I think he gave me a sneak peek.
A peep into a life fulfilled by purpose, once derailed by grief.
I wasn't supposed to end up this way. I grew up in a great, loving household. I was the only boy, middle child, so I was spoiled rotten. So I had all the love that one could want. And, somewhere in life, it just took a bad turn for me. And, I began drinking heavily to numb out the pain of, losing my grandfather at a young age.
A great loss, numbed through addiction, fueling mental stressors.
And, that just led me down a path to destruction of, multiple incarcerations. It also led me to my opiate use, which that's when my life really took a turn for the worse. I began IV using heroin in 2013, and, I began being homeless, and that's when the feeling of hopelessness set in. It was the fact that I needed this for my everyday events, whether it be eating, brushing my teeth, seeing my kids, wanting to be around my kids, wanting to go with my family, wanting to do anything in life, period, taking a breath. I became solely dependent on heroin for that. And so that puts you in a mindset of feeling hopeless and helpless. And, because as a man, you don't want to know that you're hooked on this substance to be able to provide for your family, to even go to work, to do anything, especially when you wasn't raised that way. And I'm sure, women could speak for that as well. And so you didn't feel like you done so much wrong, and you didn't let so many people down, and you didn't let yourself down, and you can't look in the mirror. And so with all that weighing on your shoulders, at some point, when you're helpless and low enough, suicide feels like the only way.
But where there's darkness, light must come.
For the first time in a long time, I felt like I belonged, and I felt like I had a reason to be on earth. So I made that covenant. And so I think the sixth time, it was just actually feeling like I had a purpose, and like, you know what, like this is not what I want. I do want to live, and I have a purpose for living now. And I want to reach back and help as many people like me as possible. And I get that opportunity to do that every day here at Regions.
Regions Behavioral Hospital CEO Mark Crawford says their facility is a resource for those in need of hope and recovery.
So here at the hospital, we are just stabilizing a crisis. There's something acute that has happened. It could be someone's attempted suicide, someone has threatened suicide, someone is just severely depressed. They're not getting out of bed, they're not taking care of themselves every day. Our process here is to begin the path to getting better. So that's going to require a lot of supervision, medication. You're seeing a doctor every day, you're seeing social workers every day. It's not a long process usually, but it's a necessary step before we get there. Once they transition from inpatient to outpatient, that is really where the real change can take place, because you have a therapist over there you're going to meet with, you're going to have individuals, you're going to be in a group setting, and that's really where you're going to learn how to live your life again, learn how to manage emotions, things like that.
A place where alongside trained medical professionals and survivors like Ronnie can thrive in an environment that meets the needs of those once like themselves.
I mean, our goal is to put you on the best path possible. Given whatever circumstances you have, we want you to be able to lead the best life you can. And that looks different for everyone. So whatever that is, we have an individualized program that tries our best to make that happen. It takes work on the patient side too. But one of the other things that I tell Ryan is like, I don't ever want to have somebody fail because we didn't do the best that we could.
About a year and a half ago, I get a call. It's a guy that I was once in treatment with before that we got sober together. He kind of fell off. He ended up on hard times again. And he was at a hotel, strung out, did not want to live. Heard that I was working at Regions, gave me a call. We didn't have transportation. They didn't want to wait that long for the ambulance to get to him. So I got in my own car, I went and got him. And a year and a half later now, he has 2 kids and he's happily married. And we actually just talked on the phone the other day. So that is, that's why I talked about nothing gets me higher than saying that, because I understand where he was at.
And others at Regions committed to the cause of saving lives through resources and availability, encouraging those in need to release the fear of speaking up.
It goes back to that fear, that stigma, that fear of saying something, the fear of being judged. And so reacting on impulse, I lacked impulse control, right? And so I would try to make a permanent decision based on a temporary emotion. And so we can just get in the habit of being in people's face, letting them know like, hey, no, you can change. Like, here I am. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, you don't have to do this. Then maybe we'll be the first thought, or the resources be the first thought on that person's mind, than the hole or the darkness, or the evil that they feel around them.
Because caring communities save lives.
I don't care if it's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 10 at night. If my phone has service, call my number. And you call, I immediately go into action and getting you help. Whether that be get you to the nearest hospital so that you can get secure transportation to Regions Behavioral via ambulance. That's me getting out of bed, coming to pick you up myself. Or if a family member, a loved one, or a friend is available, they can transport you to the facility as well. A lot of the facilities that I deal with, including Regions, we are 24-hour facilities 7 days a week. The reason why we I keep saying we, because I am, in recovery, we use drugs, or, we try to have, we try the suicide attempts are the results, right? And so the resources are the results, because people that utilize those resources and those people that get that split second to think, they do become productive in society. They do become full-time fathers and mothers and husbands and wives again. And so resources and having them at every corner, because we're dealing with an epidemic. And so the more resources that you have, the better chances you have to be successful at this thing called life.